Well, folks, I'm right here in my living room to talk about the last group, the group that I have not talked yet, Group H. And this group brings Belgium, Korea, South Korea, also Russia, and Algeria. I'm going to start with Algeria. You know, this team is always known as the giant killer due to the fact that they beat Germany in 1986. They also surprised the world with a draw against England. It's a pretty good team. They have good players. Some players that play like in Europe, like Safir Taidel, Sofiane Feghouli, also Slam Slamini. These three players play in Europe. They're quite experienced. They have a pretty good team, pretty solid team. They might get a draw here, a draw there, but I don't think this team will qualify for the second. It's not going to go to the playoffs. They're a decent team, but I don't think they're going to go that far. The other team, the Korean team, it's very interesting to say that Korea has been taking part in the World Cup since 1986. Straight all the way through. They have not missed a cup. It's always a dangerous team. They have very fast players, experienced players. Some players play in Europe. I would detach some of the players like Park Chung-young that plays in Arsenal. Also the team captain Park Ji-sung and Lee Dong-guk, which is the number 20. It's a kind of a center forward that plays tough soccer. He's very temperamental. Sometimes gets yellow cards. It's a very fast team. It's a pretty good team. But once again, I don't think South Korea will advance to the next round in this World Cup. Once again, it's a team that can cause some problems to Russia and Belgium, but I don't think they're good enough to play against these two strong European teams. Russian team, very good team. If you guys remember, they played against Brazil about a year ago, and they play really well. They have some players like Kurzakov, the number 22, is a good player, left foot player, excellent player. They have Fezulin, which is a center forward, number 20. Also a guy that's very, very dangerous. And they have Andrei Shenko, which is a sort of like a left midfielder, plays a little bit in the forward side. Very good player, probably the best player in Russia at this moment. This guy can cause damage. He's very skillful, very fast, and has a bit like a short dribbles. And I think he can really bring Russia up. I think Russia will qualify. They also a defensive player, Ignacevic. It's a very good player that has a very strong foot. Very strong left foot, takes all the falls and stuff, is a good player, all the free kicks, and that's another guy that can create some problems for the other teams. I think Russia will qualify, probably in the second place, because this group, and I'm leaving the best for the last, which is the Belgium team. And I'm saying the Belgium team because, every 20 years it seems like we have this sort of like a sensational soccer team coming up to the World Cup. 1954, there was Hungary, Puskas, Coxis, and all those players, which is known as the Phantom team, which is a very good team. He ended up losing to Germany on the final in 1954. In 1974, we had the Orange Clock team, which was the Holland, amazing, phenomenal team with Cruyff, Rizenbrink, Naskens, and many other Dutch stars at the time. They finished second, also lost to Germany. 20 years later, Romania came and played really well in 1994 in the United States with George Hagi, Hadushoy. Played fantastic soccer, was probably one of the best teams in 1994, but lost to Sweden in the quarterfinals. And now this time, I think the sensational team, 20 years later, is going to be the Belgian team. And it's important also to remember that the coach is a guy called Mark Wilmots that played 4 World Cups. So it's a very experienced soccer coach, was a very experienced player. Actually, this guy scored a goal, which was a very polemic goal in 2002 when he had the ball and put Belgium in front of Brazil, ahead of Brazil at that time. The goal was called nul, it was not considered a goal, and then Brazil ended up winning that match. It was a very polemic match at that time, and Brazil ended up winning that cup, so it's important to remember that. So it's a team that plays forward all the time. Another interesting aspect of that team that they use the jersey numbers just like in the traditional way of soccer. For example, the right fullback's number 2, the left fullback number 6, and then 5, 8, 10 in the middle, 3 and 4 and in the defense side, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, just like the traditional way of soccer numbers. And I think that's a very interesting, it's a characteristic of a coach that is not afraid of anybody. So they don't have to pretend any sort of a strategy, any sort of tactics. That's the way it goes. And I detach a lot of good players, like for example, Romelu Lukaku, which is a center forward, of course, number 9. It's a black guy, really strong, very skillful, very dangerous guy. So number 9 is a guy to watch out for. Another player that is excellent, has an afro hair, is Axel Witsel, number 6, 25 years old. Number 6, very good player. He's a sort of like a defensive midfielder, very skillful. Marquinhos Fellaini, number 8, and that's a phenomenal player, 26 years of age, very tall player. Kind of reminds me of Dr. Socrates, the Brazilian player that played in 1982 and 1986. Very skillful player, the kind of guy that make assistance from everywhere in the field. Tough worker, really good player, very skillful player. And then we also have Kevin De Bruyne, the right forward, the right wing of the team, 22 years old. It's kind of a blonde guy. It's interesting, even like they have this diversity in the team. We got blonde players, we got half-breeds, we got black players. Very interesting squad. And also, of course, Eden Hazard. You know, Hazard, that can be very hazard. Hazard also means fate. And also means dangerous in English and French. And this guy is dangerous. This guy is a phenomenal player. Left foot, very short dribbles from futsal, from indoor soccer. Phenomenal player. Guys that can do a lot of things in a very short space. Watch for the guy. You're going to watch him in the many World Cups. Number 10 from Belgium. So it's going to be a very interesting group. I would say Belgium first, Russian second, and then third and fourth between Korea and Algeria. It's going to be a tough call. But very interesting matches. I think watch if you want a team to bet. I think Belgium is the team to do it. Okay? I'm not sure if they're going to win. I don't even know. I don't have a crystal ball to predict the future, but I would go with Belgium as one of the best teams in this World Cup. And that's our final commentary. We'll talk to you later. I see you next time tomorrow, Brazil and Croatia, and I'll post my commentaries right after the match. I see you then. See you next time.